Spectrum wants to hear your views. You can SMS at any time during the show. Type Spectrum, leave a space, type in your contribution and name, then send it to 7197. Your views, our interviews on Spectrum, Radio 1 FM 90.
Hello and welcome. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. My name is Edmund. Tonight on Spectrum, the opposition questions a recent NRM retreat and the holding of party functions at State House. What are their concerns and fears? Our guests we have Honarable Wafula Ogutu, Shadow Minister for Information and National Guidance, also Member of Parliament for Bukoba Central. You most welcome, Honorable.
Thank you very much,
We also expect
Edmond.
We also expect to be joined by Mr. Kintu Nyago, Deputy Principal Private Secretary to the President. But first of all, let's understand where this is coming from. President Yoweri Museveni invited all members of Parliament to his country home in Rwachitura this week to discuss how the country can fulfill the agenda of increasing household incomes in order to fight poverty. The Rwachitura meeting was boycotted by the opposition, but then it was also followed by a tour of model farms in Masaka to show MPs living examples of Ugandans who are earning well enough through modernized agriculture. Today, NRM MPs are meeting at State House in Telo to discuss further the issues that they came across in the field tour. The current economic crisis and the proposal to amend the constitution to prevent suspects of some crimes from getting bail for at least 6 months. President Museveni is determined to push this issue to a referendum if he does not get support from parliamentarians. Today, the opposition cabinet met at Parliament to deliberate on a number of issues. They then issued a statement in which they accused the NRM of spending taxpayers' money on NRM party activities that do not add value to the country. President Museveni had said the Rwachitura retreat would be funded from his private resources, but the opposition maintains that money has been withdrawn from the State House board and that this may result into the State House seeking a supplementary budget. The opposition legislators also vowed to challenge the current practices of NRM holding its functions at State House, saying this contributes to utility bills there. In the past, the NRM party asked the opposition to approach the President's office and the State House comptroller if at all they wanted to hold their meetings at State House, an issue the opposition viewed as an act of ridicule. So tonight we analyze the issues being raised by the opposition to establish if at all they have any cause for concern. Mr. Kintu Nyago has also joined us. You're most welcome, Mr. Nyago.
Thank you, Edmund. Good evening, listeners.
1 week ago, President Museveni invited all MPs, including the opposition, according to information, to attend a retreat at his Rwachitura home to discuss the challenges of poverty and how the country can overcome it through enhancing household incomes. As the opposition, Honarable Wafula Ogutu, you decided to boycott this meeting, and now you're concerned about what transpired. Is this not a defeatist attitude?
Edmund, thank you very much and good evening, listeners. I think from the onset I should clarify this, that the opposition did not boycott the trip to Rwachitura because they were not invited to go to Rwachitura. Initially, the speaker had announced that the president had invited members of parliament to go to Rwachitura. She had not clarified. Last week, we sought a clarification as to whether the invitation was open to all members of parliament, and it was clarified that no, the president had invited only NRM members of parliament to go for 3 days to Rwachitura, Masaka, State House, and what have you. So it is not true that we were invited. But we find this a bit not right, because if the president invites members of parliament to go and assist them or help or facilitate them to go to see model farmers and increase with the aim of increasing production in agriculture in the country, and he becomes discriminatory like this, so it means us who represent other constituencies don't have Ugandans who also need skills to improve on the agricultural production. And the irony of it is that in some of these constituencies, President Museveni won. like my constituency, he got more. My constituency got more votes than my party president. So it means it is also they also got her supporters there. So when you discriminate like that, then it is a problem. And but even if he had invited us to go as members of parliament, maybe all over, maybe we will still have issues the manner in which it is done, because the president is only supposed to interact with the opposition member, I mean with the parliament, when he is presenting his budget, when he is making State of the Nation address. He is not supposed to have to interact anyhow. It is all governed by law, by rules. But to go and learn on how to increase on agricultural production or any production at all, to help the welfare, improve the welfare of Uganda, all members of parliament would want benefit from that. But must it be organized by the president? Because it can be organized by ministries. Yes, by ministries, by water. Why the president? That's where the problem is.
So what do you think was the motive?
We think that the motive is not that, because the president has been having some silent rebellion in courts from some members of parliament from his party. He has wanted to push things through. It is not a very nice thing for ministers to be going to parliament several times and they are chased away by parliament, by member committee, by either parliamentary committees or by the parliament itself, the plenary, because they haven't prepared. And this has happened in the last 2 weeks several times, meaning that the government is not sure what they are doing, or they are not preparing sufficiently. So that has been in a way small bits of vote of no confidence in some of these officials and the government itself. Then the president, of course, has his point of, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, that he wants to deny bail to people who he's making a law which he is targeting individual, a few people, and you don't make a law against few people whom you are looking at in the face. You make a law for everybody. But he's trying to make a law that if you demonstrate, which is a constitutional right, then you will be arrested and you are taken to jail for 6 months before you are tried. Now, sometimes even the crime, the sentence could be 1 month for imprisonment, but the prison wants to imprison Ugandans in jails for 6 months, just for suspicion. And therefore, Edmond, somebody can, if there was some demonstration, somebody can say, Edmond, that you are participating in a demonstration, and you'll be arrested. You are not allowed to go and say, no, I never did. You go first Luzira for 6 months before you come back for trial, which I think is, to me, is absolutely ridiculous, and it goes against the constitution in many, many aspects.
Some people have called it detention without trial.
It is detention without trial of Obote 1. Absolutely, there's no difference with that. There's no difference at all.
We'll discuss that in more detail later, Honorable Ogutu. Mr. Kintu Nyago, can you give us the context of this meeting? Give us some background to it, the context and the logic of it.
Well, my understanding, it's nice to meet with you after a long time.
Congratulations, you're a big man now.
Thank you, Honorable. Same to you. Same to you.
No, I'm not a big man. I'm a servant of the people.
Oh, yes, representing of the people. I mean, that's the democracy you were struggling for all along. And congratulations. Now, my understanding was that the invitation was open. And against that background, you find that really it's in order for the president or any other person or any other institution to invite anybody for purposes that person or individual thinks that he should invite people. I think that's the very core of the passion Mr. Ogutu had about the right to assembly. I mean, demonstrations about the right to assembly. So if, say, Mr. Museveni as the president of Uganda opts to invite Ugandans to assemble for a given agenda, that's, I think, what democracy and a rights-based society is all about. So, now, I also find it very encouraging that Mr. Ogutu, my old friend Mr. Ogutu, was my tutor at the university some long time ago. And some of the ideas I have were through the interaction I had with him.
Although you have spoiled a lot of them.
I could have improved them. Mr. Ogutu. All right. Now, you find that I find it very encouraging that he recognizes that President Museveni did win in elsewhere. That's important. I mean, because there are some poor losers. Democracy is not just about one man for himself and everything good for us all. No. Democracy is about fair play. It's about sportsmanship. Because elective office, Bugiri, where Mr. Ogutu comes from, can only have, under the laws of Uganda, one member of parliament. So against that background, Honorable Mukisa has to appreciate the fact that Mr. Ogutu is the MP, and any other recourse to that is either the people or the courts. And there's nothing. I mean, no matter who you are, you can't just say that Honorable Mukisa now is going to walk down Mr. Ogutu from Parliament, say protesting in marketplaces in Bugiri. On the highway. I've been to Bugiri several times. And, it will be out of order for Honorable Mukisa begin walking down Honorable Wafula Ogutu, because that is undemocratic. Especially if you get, the kind of not very, what should I term it for? Like not very votes that really are not very inspiring. 20%, right? National polls. That's not really something to talk home, to write home about. Yeah, to write home about. 70%. That's something. So, Mr. Ogutu, that's now on the issue of bail. Look, bail is not a God-given right to begin with. And now, secondly, I do remember, I've read quite extensively about the history of this country, about colonial detentions, for example, about the detentions that took place in the 60s, Mr. Ngida's law, about Mr. Chirunda and the manner in which he used to conduct detentions without trial. Nobody is talking about detention without trial here. In any case, it's the parliament in which Mr. Ogutu is that is going to pass this law. And the law hasn't been passed. Oh, I would imagine so, because it has good reasons which I'm going to enumerate. To begin with, bail is not a God-given right, nor is bail constitutional in Uganda. Let's take an example. America is regarded by most listeners and elsewhere as one of the best democracies. Oh yeah, God's own country and so forth. Now you find Mr. Dominic Strauss-Kahn. That's not, a pusher in Harlem, Bronx, New York. Mr. Dominic Strauss-Kahn was the president of the IMF. For his indecent association with a lady who works in a hotel, he was denied bail in New York, not somewhere in some small town in Wild West America. In New York, the Big Apple, the culture heart of America. He was denied bail. And when eventually he was given bail, he was confined to his flat. For some time. Oh yes, until, evidence emerged that possibly he didn't really commit the crime he was being accused of. So, just that one example is illustrative of the fact. And moreover, Strauss-Kahn was not being accused of economic sabotage. Yes. Say, burning down highways, blocking national highways. Blocking, like Mr. Besige, blocking a national highway for 2 hours on Gaza Road, or blocking a national highway near a national referral hospitals. How many mothers missed having their labor whatever? How many doctors missed who are on call, missed going to attend to patients? How many students couldn't go to study simply because Mr. Besige was adamantly blocking a national highway? All right. So those are the kind of crimes. Now the other crimes being proposed here are things like rape. Okay, I would like us to talk about that proposed law in detail. But first of all, I'd like us to get out of this housekeeping. Should President Museveni host NRM meetings in State House? They take our coffee, they switch on our light bulbs. I may be mistaken, but I think well, you can hold it elsewhere in a hotel and pay. He chose to hold in State House, and State House is his home. And how did he become president? with a very, with a very inspiring landslide celebrity. Not even Obama, but Mr. Ogutu himself had just told us here that he won in Bukit.
No,
please,
I will qualify it for you if you want. No, but you are misleading, you are misinforming the public. Yes, no. I don't accept.
Those are not the values you told me. So please, let me...
Okay, let's hear him out. Let's
I don't interrupt when you're talking.
Go on, sir.
Now, you find State House is redundant and Mr. President needs all manner of people, from the very mighty like this country, I'm not saying that members of parliament, these are the high 90s, the peasants from everywhere. So there's
absolutely nothing wrong with it. Mr. Ogutu.
Yeah, you see.
As you answer that, as you respond to that, we've also been told that President has invited you to hold your own meetings at State House, and you don't seem to want.
No, that's all a gymnastics, and it has no sense in it because he hasn't done that. But really, Edmond and Mr. Kintu Nyago, sir, what you are saying, I'm sure you don't believe it. In the things you are telling, the things you are saying, you said the president has the right to invite people. Yes, the president has a right to invite anybody, any citizen, for a meeting, 1 hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes, 20 minutes. But the president has no right to host his party conventions in the State House at the expense of the taxpayer. That's why we have the Electoral Commission demanding budgets for parties to explain where they got money from. So when Museveni, the President Museveni hosts an NRM convention in the State House, is that money reflected in the NRM budget for the year? Is that reflected in what the NRM, and they don't do any accountability to the Electoral Commission? Does he account for it? So when they say the president was going to use his own fund, where? When the 300 people in the State House in Rwaktura, and they are flashing toilets.
I think Rwaktura is a private house.
Rwaktura is maintained 100% by the government, by the people of Uganda. All the workers there, including veterinary officers for the president,
for his
private house, cows, they are paid by the state, and they have been paid. I've seen their veterinary officers there ever since when I used to go there when I was a journalist. They are paid by the state. So nothing in Rwaktura is Museveni's. It is all ours. We maintain it. So when you take a meeting there of 300 people and they are fed for days, and they are housed, and they are given allowances, whose money is that? Where does the president get money to pay 300,000 shillings per day? Where does he get it from?
300,000 shillings.
So and Mr. Kintu is saying, I said Museveni won, and he said yes. Museveni got more votes than my party president. But President Museveni, Dr. Museveni, Field Marshal Commander, he also used 1 trillion shillings to buy votes from Uganda. That's why the economy is in a mess. He took money illegally from the coffers of Uganda, and he spent it to buy votes. That's why the economy is in a mess. Now, so he got more votes. You can say that because people have been impoverished, he was buying votes, and that is, we didn't go to court. Mr. Nyago is saying we should have gone to court. We said in 2006 we shall not go to court, and we shall not go to court because it's useless to go to court under the present circumstances. So he is saying, he's giving the example. He said bail is not a God-given right. For goodness sake, incarceration is not a God-given right for government.
I would like us to go deep in this.
To imprison people is not a God-given.
Right.
People are born free. It is they are only imprisoned and confined by other individuals.
We're going for a break. When we come back, we will look at these two issues: the issue of the economy, what Mr. Honarable Wafula Ogutu has raised, and then the issue of the right to vote. Remember, tonight we're asking oppositioners questioned a recent NRM retreat and the holding of party functions at State House. We're asking what are their concerns and fears. So I guess Honarable Wafula Ogutu and Mr. Chief will be right back.
Thank you for coming to the Executive Suite, Madam. My name is Richard, your Executive Banker, and I'm here to handle all your banking needs.
Oh, really? Thank you. I noticed you don't have any queues here.
No, Mrs. Asio, we do not.
Oh, wow. You even know my name?
But of course, Madam. To Today we are offering you a current account with a Gold Visa debit card, home loans with attractive rates, Gold Visa credit cards, and unsecured personal loan.
All that for me?
Yes. In addition, we can offer you internet banking so that you can access our services from anywhere, even your home.
Oh, this is too much. What else will you give me now? Chai?
Experience executive banking at Stanbic Bank.
Excuse me, madam. Your cup of chai?
Ask about executive banking at your nearest branch or visit our executive banking suites in Nakasero Towers, Forest Mall at Lugogo, Garden City, Njinda, Makerere, Mbarara, Mukono, Mbale, Lira, and Gulu. Stanbic Bank. Moving forward.
The art of crafting a jewel as experienced by the brewmaster.
Under the exacting international standards at Nalbury's, he uses only the finest, most carefully selected grains of roasted crystal malt and sets in motion the delicate process of releasing their full roast. The result is a world-class beer with a fresher aroma, a richer golden color, and a maltier taste. It isn't every day that you find yourself with a precious jewel in your hand and the distinction of having produced it as well.
Nile Gold Crystal Malt Lager. Beyond an ordinary malt.
Hi, I've got just 30 seconds to list all the destinations in Africa served by Kenya Airways out of Nairobi. Abidjan, Accra, Addis Ababa, Bujumbura, Cairo, Cotonou, Dakar, Dar es Salaam.
He's never going to make it. Kenya Airways covers 70% of all destinations in Africa alone and several more worldwide. If you're starting from Uganda, there is no rush because Kenya Airways operates the most frequencies every day from Entebbe to the hub in Nairobi. So you can pick up any of these connections at your own convenience.
Kenya Airways, the pride of Africa.
Several times up.
Malabo, Mauritius, Mombasa.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90 is brought to you by Stanbic Bank.
Back on Spectrum tonight. On Spectrum tonight, the opposition questions our recent NRM retreat and the holding of party functions at State House. What are their concerns and fears? Our guests tonight, Honarable Wafula Ogutu, Shadow Minister for Information and National Guidance, also Member of Parliament for Bukoli Central. We also have Mr. Kintu Nyago, Deputy Principal Private Secretary to the President. We'll be talking about the economy and the bail issue during this last part of the debate. Then you'll be able to call in and give us your views.
Yeah, Edmond, I just want to close this issue.
Close it.
Mr. Nyago talked about the example of Strauss-Kahn. Strauss-Kahn is a Frenchman. Strauss-Kahn was gotten from the airport leaving that country. So, in the law, maybe they suspect if he goes out, if he's given freedom, he would go to France and it would be difficult to extradite him to America. But now, if the law is against this, Wafula Ogutu is walking from Mutinda to Kampala and you arrest him and you keep him for 6 months in Luzira, where is Wafula Ogutu going? He's a Ugandan who is going to die here. So the examples are not the same. Then, Mr. Nyago is saying, Dr. Besdi closed the highway, for goodness sake. Dr. Besdi was walking with 2 assistants. And he walked from about 2 kilometers alone. There's no problem. It is when the police came in to stop him that the people who support him, because Dr. Besdi's bodyguards are the public, the population, they came to surround him to protect him. But he never stopped cars moving. He did not. So don't mislead the public. That when he was mistreated at Wandage, had he closed the highway?
The
Mr.
public has not been misled. That's what 3 consecutive times, including at that point where the solicitor of oil again, last time round.
That is also a lie.
The last time round, police made it 7%. No, so the public has not been misled. I'm not going to buy reports. I sympathize with where some brother often comes from the left and so forth, making evidence. Which is expensive. And I'm sure dealing just runs around in the elections are expensive. I don't know the amount of Senator.